Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, a millennial with existential dread, just your run-of-the-mill millennial. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing the Booktube newbie tag questions. I know I posted some videos, but I'm still pretty new on Booktube, and so I'm gonna do this tag. I will tell you that I have not pre-thought out any of these answers, so I'm gonna try to just think of them as I go. While I have you here, be sure to click the thumbs up button and the subscribe button so that you can see my videos when they post. Okay, number one, why did you start this channel? I started this channel, I guess. I've made other YouTube channels of other topics, and I just kind of, I don't know, didn't feel like constantly posting videos on only those topics. I think I have more of a longevity maybe with Booktube because I like to talk about books that I read, and my husband doesn't always want to hear me ramble about books that I read, so I guess I'll just be able to do that on this channel. And really, yeah, just for fun, I guess. Number two, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? So I guess for me, I would say that I like to read a lot of social justice type of books and non-fiction. I think Booktube has a lot of fantasy lovers and a lot of romance lovers. I do plan on reading some fantasy, not as much romance. I do love dystopian, I do love realistic fiction and contemporary, but I also really like some non-fiction and just learning information. So I think my channel will be, I guess, a little bit unique in the sense that I'm not going to be talking as much about fantasy and romance as the other channels, and a little bit more about facts and social justice, but also about the other genres of book as well. Number three, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I guess probably pushing myself to read things outside of my comfort zone, which I've already started doing. Sometimes based on Booktube and book talk recommendations, and I'm probably gonna try reading a romance, and I'm in the middle of a fantasy, which is okay, and I hope to try more types of books, and people will be able to kind of see my reactions and see me grow in my tastes as you watch and as I talk. Why do you love reading? I don't know. That's a weird question. I guess I really like picturing things in my head. And sometimes when books have too much description, I actually don't like it, because I actually like being, I guess, given the opportunity to think of what the world would look like and to picture some stuff on my own. And I like being given just enough description, and so I can picture this whole new world in my head, and I guess that would be my answer to that question. Which book or series got you into reading? So I don't know, okay, so way back in elementary school, my favorite books were the Wayside School series. I loved Wayside School's Falling Down. I remember reading that in 3rd grade. And I also really liked the Bailey School Kids series. I think my favorite was Witches Don't Do Backflips, because I was a gymnast and I was in gymnastics at that time. So those were my favorites from 3rd grade. And then there was one about a witch on a slide. I don't know. Or maybe that was the same book. Anyway, those were my favorite books when I was younger. And then I kind of didn't really read much outside of school purposes from probably 7th to 12th grade. I didn't really read for fun as much. And then in college, I actually started reading for fun again. And what I started with was actually Jodi Picoult books. So I remember Perfect Match was the first book that kept me up at night. I literally stayed up till 3 in the morning just to finish it, because I wanted to find out what happened. I will say, if you do decide to read that, there are trigger warnings for that book. And then the next book I read was My Sister's Keeper, and I remember very distinctly, I was actually at the gym, and I was so jealous of all these girls who were doing homework while they were working out. I've never been able to do that, and I tried so hard to read while I was on the treadmill. And anyway, so I went on the bike, the stationary bike, and I was pedaling on the stationary bike while I was reading, and I just remember very distinctly this feeling it was almost like the blood drained out of me at the end. I was like, I got so sad, and I was at the gym. And so anyway, I would say probably those books. I did take another couple years off, like, reading for fun, just because I literally was working so many, like, 4 jobs at a time and school and so much stuff. But recently, I've gotten back into reading in the last 2 years thanks to COVID. And I don't know what it was that got me, like, back into reading this time. It wasn't like a particular book or series or anything. Actually, you know what? It was reading some social justice books. And that kind of got me back into everything. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I have no idea. I think I'm gonna have to skip this question. I think I would just ask what people, how they decide what videos to make, I guess. How can you make so many videos on this topic? Like, I've tried to make myself a little schedule, posting like twice a week, and I don't think I'm gonna be able, I don't know if I can even keep up to twice a week. And so, like, how are people thinking of things to talk about? I mean, so I guess every month you can do like a reading wrap up, but that's pretty, like, that's a given. But the rest of the month, like, how do you think of stuff to post for the rest of the month? And even if you're only doing 1 video a week, that's still 3 more videos. And if you're doing more than 1 video a week, like, wow, so many ideas. What challenges, number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Thinking of ideas, literally. Posting videos consistently, I think, is probably going to be like the biggest challenge. I will say the other concern that I like kind of have is that people on booktube read a lot. Like, there's people reading like 10, 20 books a month every month, and I personally don't do that. I think I might have read like 10 books last month. I don't know how many I'm at so far, but it's just, yeah, I think the competitiveness might be a little much, and I'm gonna feel like if I'm not reading 20 books a month, then nobody's gonna want to watch my channel. But maybe I can present a more realistic view. Like, I work full time, I am also in school, I'm getting a master's degree, and like, yeah, that's my answer to that question. Number 8, when did you start reading? So I already kind of went over this in a previous question where I talked about, I would say probably 3rd grade, 2nd or 3rd grade, I started reading for fun. I mean, I probably read in kindergarten and 1st grade for fun too. I just don't really remember. But I distinctly remember there's a couple series from like 3rd grade. So I would say there. Where do you read? On my couch. Literally just like on my love seat. I just read on my love seat. Sometimes on my bed. But like on my love seat, I can lean against the armrest on one side, and then I take a big throw pillow and I put it on my lap, and then I put the book on top of that throw pillow, and that's how I read. In the bed, it's not as comfortable because like the pillows aren't as puffy as the throw pillows, I guess, and I can't really lean against the side, so I have to like more sit up, and then I can take a pillow, and then when I do read it in the bed, I take a pillow and I put it on my lap and I put the book on top of that, but sometimes that's not enough, so I'll like stack up 2 pillows and put the book on top of that to read it. Because otherwise I'm like hunched over, or you're laying down on your stomach and the top of your body is kind of like arched up so that you can read, which gets uncomfortable pretty quickly for me. So mostly on the couch. And what kinds of books do you like to read? That's number 10, which is the last question. I already touched on this before, but I like to read dystopian, love it. I like to read contemporary, I like realistic fiction. I like young adult. I am not as big of a fan as romance, but I hope to read a little bit more of that. Also not a giant fan of fantasy, but like I did read all the Harry Potter. So I think for fantasy, I usually read more of like the popularized books, but maybe I'll start reading some less popular books in that genre. And then also nonfiction, like social justice and things like that. So that is all of the questions. I hope that helps out people who are new to this channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Give this a thumbs up and be sure to click the subscribe button because it'll help me out a lot. And I look forward to building myself and you guys a little booktube community on here.